So what we need to do now is we need to have a look at how Bob thinks. And to understand that, we're going to use a very old working model, and that's going to help us understand how Bob thinks. This old model is the mind versus the heart, or the intellect versus the emotions. This is a very simple way to understand Bob and introduces the concept of the two motivating forces that we can sell to that are active within Bob. We need to understand both of these motivational forces and how they work if we are to understand how Bob is motivated to make buying decisions. So we have logical thinking versus emotional thinking. With logical thinking, Bob processes the information stored in Bob's mind and joins all those pieces of information together. Bob's mind is operating by itself and is able to run efficiently and without interruption, and it's totally logical, assuming all the information accessed by the mind is correct. So Bob has the capacity and is operating on principles and logic. We can identify when Bob is in logical thinking mode because there will be an absence of strong controlling emotions in Bob's communications. When Bob is operating this way, it is easy for us to sell to Bob if our product offering solves the problems Bob is trying to solve. With emotional thinking, the heart sends emotional messages to Bob, which the mind interprets and explains to Bob. Bob's mind mistakenly identifies these interpreted emotional messages as rational thought and rational ideas and uses this message in the place of rational thought. Bob is then running on thoughts that are actually just emotional statements or emotional beliefs instead of logical thinking. Bob's heart is in control and Bob's mind is obeying whatever the heart says. We can identify when Bob is in emotional mode, when Bob expresses very strong emotions that drives Bob's behavior and causes Bob to make emotional statements that are not rational. It can be very difficult to sell to Bob if Bob is in this state and sees our marketing as contradicting Bob's view of the world.